Hey guys, I am making a video of my 1986 Porsche 944 Turbo that does not have cruise control, but I am going to add cruise control with all the different components and show you how I do it. And the way I know what these components should be, what each of them is and what it all needs, is because I have, and pardon the mess in my garage, another 1986 Porsche 944 Turbo that does have cruise control on it. So I'm basically taking what it has, buying all the components and putting it on this one because I love cruise control. Okay, so there's a few things under the dash that I want you to take note of. One of them is this post right here. That is where a pivot goes that comes from the servo cable. The second thing I want you to make note of is this hole right here. And that's where the clutch switch will go. And then I was told that a car that does not have cruise control will still have all the cables. You can maybe see this, I believe, goes to that clutch switch right there. I was digging around down here and found these cables. I'm not sure what this one is. This one has a lot of pins on it. I don't know what that one is. But there is, sorry, one, I believe that one was cable tied up into this big chunk of wiring harness right there. I clipped the cable tie and found that one. That's the bottom connector. And the top connector, not this one, but oops, not this one, but next to it is the top connector for the cruise control box. And the box itself mounts to these studs that are poking down. One's right there and the other one is back there. And then there is a black plastic cover that I had to take off of this big nesting of wire harness there. That black plastic piece will go back on again. And there are some, I don't know, some posts up there where it does screw into. I believe that is one of them right there. That funny looking post with the threads, and they're just plastic nuts, and I think they are 9mm plastic nuts that go on there. So that is the part under the dash I wanted you to see. Then there also should be, behind the steering wheel here, there should be a connector for the stock for the cruise control, which I believe there'll be a hole. I've got a plastic trim piece coming. It should be right about there is where the other stock comes out. And I'll show you under the hood what you're gonna find as well. Here's the plastic piece that covers up that wiring harness. It looks like there, I don't know if that's grease or what, but that's where the wiring harness was sitting inside this thing. And it just is held up with 3 of these plastic black nuts that kind of, one goes there, one goes there, and one goes behind this guy. All right, now we're under the hood. And right here right by the battery, there is this connector, which is for the cruise control servo. Basically, you just disconnect that and unhook this. This opens up, and there is your connector for the cruise control servo. Now, what you're going to want to do with this is one side is open, the other side has this kind of blocked off couple pieces here. I'm just going to take a snipper and clip those 3 little plastic tabs holding those 2 center pieces in, so that it'll be open like this on both sides, and that's what's going to hold your 2 plug parts together and secure to the firewall there. One other thing I forgot to mention is the cable that runs from that servo over here, which isn't there right now. It's going to run to the top of this manifold. There's going to be a little like a holder that goes on right there that holds that cable, and then it's going to come around and down into through the firewall right there, where I don't know if you can see it or not, but that little circle right there, that's where it's going to go down into, I believe. All right, now I will switch over to my car that does have cruise control on it, and I'll show you what I mean where that cable goes. So there is your cruise control servo, and then the cable comes around here. There's that holder I was talking about, and then it goes down in through that little part in the firewall there, next to the other throttle cable. Both of those will hook basically to the accelerator, but the one coming from the servo will hook onto the little lever that goes on the post that you saw in one of my other shots. But this is, if I follow this along to the throttle, it goes right to the throttle body. And now, once we're inside under the dash on my car with cruise, you can kind of see that little lever back there where that throttle or that servo cable hooks to, and it basically pushes on the throttle or the gas lever. I'll also show you a shot of the clutch switch here, which was absent on my other car, as well as here's the cruise control box with the 2 cables that plug into it coming from that rat's nest back there. There's that plastic piece that I had off on the other car. Okay, I have gathered all the parts necessary to add cruise control to my 944, and here is the lowdown. The first thing is this, I guess they call it a combo switch for your steering column. It's got your turn signals, your washer, and the cruise control knob. Along with that is the bezel that has the 3 holes for each of those knobs. Then you've got your cruise control computer here. That's the brains of it. This top connector, it kind of mounts like this on your car. The top connector is all the car inputs to the computer and the power supply. And then this bottom connector are all of the signals and the power that goes out to the servo. And the next thing is just this is not a factory switch, but it's the switch that I'm going to use for the clutch. I just didn't want to spend $40+ for the actual official Porsche switch for the clutch. But anyways, this should work. Then as we go up here, we've got the servo, and it has the little knob for the linkage that's going to move the cruise control. It's also got the connector here. That connector will go onto the pre-existing connector or the wiring harness on the car. The next thing is the cable for the servo. I actually made my own little clip. It didn't come with one of these clips, but that goes, once it connects onto that ball, this clip goes over that and holds it in place. Some miscellaneous 10mm hardware to mount the servo to the car. As part of this cable, also picked up a little, I don't know, cable bracket thing from Menards, and that'll hold the cable to the top of the intake manifold. Another 10mm bolt for that. And then lastly, this little pivot piece, which is kind of hard to find. They don't make them anymore, so I had to buy a used one off eBay. That goes onto a little post. I'm actually missing one of the bushings on this side, so got that on order at the Porsche dealership here in town. I think it'll be about a $5 piece, but it'll look just like this plastic one here. I don't know if that's going to come out for me or not. It's going to look just like that. That goes into the, you should have one on each side of this thing that slips over a little post. I think you saw that in the video earlier. And then this, I picked up this little E-clip at Menards as well. I think it's a 5/16. Okay, let's take a tour, see what's been done. We'll start here with the cruise control servo. You can see that that is mounted. I've got the cable running over the intake manifold, and down here you can see where this little white plug used to be. It's just a rubber plug. Just popped that out and ran the cruise control cable back through that hole, and I'll give you a little shot of under the dash here in a minute. All right, now down here you can see that pivot lever, and can't quite make out the cable that's coming through, but the cable does come through the firewall, connects onto the end of that pivot right there, and that's what pushes on the pedal linkage to make the cruise go. You can also see that it now has the clutch switch installed, and I did have to shorten the clutch switch a little bit. It's all plastic as far as the outside body and the little plunger piece, and I had to measure and cut those down so that they would actuate properly with this clutch pedal. And then finally, the cruise control box is mounted up here with both of the plugs going to it, and I guess it's kind of hard to see those mounting spots, but they're easy to find once you get the box. So that's about it. All right, everybody, here's the test. Got my foot off. We're holding steady. Success. Cancel.